study out there from Penn State University this morning. It actually shows that the time that teenagers spend specifically with their dads has some pretty critical benefits. So let's talk more about it. Joining us now to talk about the study from Total Life Counseling is mental health counselor Jim West. Jim, good to see you. Thanks for coming in today.
See you, John.
We were talking about this story just before. It's really amazing the impact dads can have on kids' life, even if they don't really say all that much. What do you think about this study?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, the Penn State study was talking about how basically the quantity of quality time that dads are spending with their kids directly relates to their behavior, their self-esteem, self-worth. Delinquency goes down the more time dad spends with their kids. It's a really neat study.
You know, we keep hearing all these stories in the news about kids out of control, and I don't know if they're any worse than they were back in the day, but when you have this many more households without a dad around, maybe there's something to that.
Well, sure. I mean, with a lot of kids that are growing up without their dads, I mean, there is more crime. Gary Chapman, in his book, The 5 Love Languages, talks about how the quantity of quality time dads spend directly relates to how much college they complete, too. So it's, you know, it's really important. And daughters or sons are impacted tremendously by the absence of the father.
Why do you think kids have so much more self-esteem when dad is around? What is dad bringing to the table that maybe mom is not?
Well, it's interesting that they compare moms and dads in the study and how dads have so much more influence on their kids. And really, moms are more about manners, get your elbows off the table, what you can say, what you can't say, you know, and making sure that there's, they're getting, you know, dad's not taking them to the wrong kind of movies, and you know, dads are getting in trouble sometimes because dads are really big kids in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And that's really how they relate better with their teenage kids. Is they're big kids and they're playful and they hang out with them and they talk and they're not always talking about the crap that's going on.
Yeah. One thing I saw interesting in this study is it didn't really matter what dads, and especially their daughters, one part that I read, their dads and their daughters talk about, because a lot of dads don't know what to say at a certain point.
Right.
But just being there, whether it's taking them out to eat, just being there has such a big impact.
Yeah, dads just being present raises the bar for daughters. And the more time that dads are spending with their daughters, the less chances their daughters are going to date idiots.
So that's good. I'll never let them out of my sight then, if that's the rules
exactly.
here.
So spend a lot of time with your daughters,
okay,
right?
so you know, you got a dad, you got a mom saying, "Wow, I want to get dad more involved here." What would you say to them as their counselor to get started here?
You know, that is oftentimes why the kids are acting out. So oftentimes the parents are the moms are bringing their sons or their daughters, and we try some behavioral techniques, but a lot of times it goes right back to what's the relationship like with their dad? How much time are they spending with them? And so we talk about how to spend quality time with them, how to take them to the game. Instead of playing golf with your buddies, why don't you take your son golfing, or you know, or your daughter, you know? And just making sure you're being present with them is just it speaks volumes. It makes a big difference.
Funny you say that. I bring mine out all the time, and I think they're bored to death, and we get home and they say, "No, I had a great time."
Right.
Even though we didn't do anything special, they were just out driving the car.
That's right. They want to be with you, John. They want to spend time with their dads, and they're observing their fathers. They're learning so much from them. The sons are learning their social skills by watching their dads also interact in groups.
Yeah.
That was another cool thing in the study.
Plus, I have to watch my mouth when my daughters are around me when I'm playing golf.
Yes,
right?
that's right. That's going to raise the bar for you.
All right, Jim West, Total Life Counseling.
Thanks,
Good to
John.
see you. Appreciate it.